Hello and welcome back to the National Museum of African American History and Culture as we complete our series in Military Appreciation Month with our second vignette. We're going to focus on this section today called Struggle for Freedom, because this is the section where African Americans are fighting during a period where they are legally enslaved people, yet they are fighting. So we call the period from the American Revolution to the Civil War a struggle for freedom. With the American Revolution, we have the intro panel, which gives a quick synopsis of the American Revolution, telling an American story through the African American lens, but that is a general overview. And then we will highlight the impact and legacy. So what was the significance of the service of African Americans during this period? And again, between those two bookends, we have a host more so images than artifacts, because it is very hard to get artifacts prior to the American Civil War, especially those artifacts with provenance to African Americans. One artifact that I will point out, and we have it in the museum in one of our slavery galleries downstairs, we have an image of a powder horn which was owned by a soldier named Prince Simbo, who was an African American soldier who served during the American Revolution. That is one of the few artifacts that we have with direct provenance to an African American soldier. This depicts the Battle of Cowpens, 1781 in South Carolina. If you look to the left of that print, you see an African American firing a pistol. And if you look to his right, you see an officer also in a green jacket on a white horse. His name is Colonel William Washington, who is believed to be a second cousin of George Washington. We know the colonel's name, but we don't know the African American soldier's name. He is credited with killing that British soldier on the black horse in this particular print. And so this is important because there are a lot of stories throughout the American Revolution like this. You would be hard-pressed to find any theater of operation or any battle during the American Revolution that an African American soldier was not involved in. And one of the artifacts I also like to point out is this weapon. It's a French Charleville. You know, during the American Revolution, American soldiers used the brown bess and the Charleville. This weapon is very key because it signifies that period when the French came in to the war after the Battle of Saratoga. The Americans had proved themselves. And so African American soldiers used this weapon as well during the war. One of the things we want people to understand is that since this was a period when African Americans were legally enslaved, they were willing to fight for the side that offered them the best chance at freedom. So all African Americans who served during the American Revolution did not necessarily fight for the colonists. Some fought for the British crown. We have a nested mission here at the National Museum of African American History and Culture, where the museum's mission is to tell an American story through the African American lens. And so the nested story is also, we tell the military story throughout the museum. So we are now not in the military gallery, but we are in one of the history galleries, Slavery and Freedom, where we also tell the American Revolution story in the context of slavery. So as you come to the museum and you learn about the military story, you not only learn about the military story in a context of military history in the Military History Gallery, but you also get to learn about military history in the context of the overarching history.